Welcome back to another episode of Arena Side of Press Pass. I'm your host, Anthony Carter, and on today's show, for the first time, we have Salina Liberty's General Manager, Sam Sellers, joining us. Sam, thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Doing good, Anthony. Exciting times.
Exciting times, I'm sure. So, before we get into all that, since this is your first time on the show, and welcome again. Just talk to us a little bit about how you got involved with the Liberty and how you got have been adapting to the arena football space.
I was a high school football coach for 23 years and last 13 as a head coach and here in Salina all of those years. And when I resigned last November, the ownership group here, we had a longtime general manager here, Francis Flax, who's a legend and awesome guy. They approached me about taking over. And I was pretty hesitant at first, to be honest with you. Didn't know a whole lot about arena football, other than, been to a couple games. Had a couple friends that had coached in it, had played in it, at different places throughout the country. And, um, I took some time, probably longer than the ownership group wanted to kind of pull the trigger, but I wanted to make sure that not only it was a good fit for me, but I was a good fit for them and could bring value to them. And so I pulled the trigger in late January, and so kind of been on since. So it was definitely trial by fire year one, and now it's kind of nice to have my feet underneath me a little bit and you know have be able to implement some of the things I want to do and go forward.
Now you got through the season with the AFL, and now you're starting with Arena Football One. Break down how has it been working with the other owners, the league leadership, into starting this new league, and what does this mean for the fans as well?
Well, I mean, I think, as tough as it was on everybody last year, the fans, players, the teams, the owners, everybody, it's one of those things as a trial by fire. And you kind of, when you go through those hard times together, those 8 teams that finish the season, the ownership groups, you know, the coaches, the front office people, at all 8 places. Um, when you're having to work through all those really, really difficult times, it really kind of forges a bond between all those groups of people and with the front office that kind of got put in place there mid-season, with Coach Fisher and Jerry Kurz, Gary Compton, Christy McElwain, like there's just kind of a group of people that maybe had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder at the end of the season, and we're kind of hungry to show how this should be done, and I think what people are going to see now going forward is a group of people that know how to do this. Those front office people at the league have done this for a long, long time, and the ownership groups are all strong, and it's it's so night and day from a day-to-day standpoint, from last spring to this fall. It's been a really fun time.
And during the off season, all of the owners and teams went to Arena Football U in Chicago. Talk to me about that. How did that go, and what did you take from that event?
Well, and that's a Jerry Kirsch thing, because I think they used to do that back in the day in the AFL, and so basically the idea behind it is to collaborate. I think especially at this level, you have the competitiveness, like you want to beat all the other teams in your league, and you want to be the best team and all those things, but um, obviously last year was the poster child for this, but I think unfortunately a lot of years in a lot of different leagues, when you have teams full during the season, it hurts your league a lot, and then the individual other teams a lot. And so if if one team is struggling somewhere in your league, and you're doing great, it still puts you in a horrible position because we dealt with it a couple of times last year where it's Tuesday of a home game week and a team folds and um, you're scrambling to figure out if we can find somebody else to play because you got sponsorships that you guarantee this many games and your fans want to be at games and so it just it just kind of puts a bad taste in everybody's mouth and so um, basically the idea of AFU is to go through all the pieces that it takes to run a team at this professional level from a team standpoint, roster management, and all those things, through marketing, social media, the business side of things, and so the league brought a bunch of speakers in, but most of it was just a big room full of people that just open dialogue, um, saying, hey, we've had a lot of success doing it this way, whether we're talking about ticket sales or whatever it is, and just bouncing ideas off each other. And it was, for me, especially kind of being new to this whole thing, it was such an invaluable experience. And again, it's just creating that league where like we're all in this together. Yeah, when the whistle blows and it's time to play, we want to beat the heck out of each other. But in between all those times, we want to be here for each other, support each other, and make our league great.
What should incoming players expect from the Liberty and just the league in general?
Well, I think we're lucky in Salina to have a reputation that we're a very small market team in this world, but our our ownership group, our coaching staff, we have a reputation of treating guys the right way. We're going to house them and feed them and take care of them. They're going to get every single dollar owed to them. We don't we were fortunate last year to not have to restructure contracts and you know and I'm not talking negatively on anybody that did because it was it was a brutal year from a money standpoint last year, but um we've never missed a payday or said, hey, I know you're supposed to get paid on Monday, but you're not going to get paid this week till Thursday. Um, I think we have a great reputation, and as you go through recruiting, you hear that a lot with guys, um, knowing that, Salina is a place that they're going to get treated right and fairly, and we're all about winning championships, and obviously a lot of guys like that. And so, we love our culture here. I mean, it's always something we're trying to build on and grow, but it does make recruiting easier for us because it guys know that they can rely on having a job and we're not going to fold in the middle of the season and things like that. Some of our we ended up the season last year with a couple of guys that we were their third team. The first two teams folded, and that's hard on those guys, and they don't know what the next step is, and do I just go back home and go back to work that year and just put a pause on my dreams of playing in the NFL or CFL or UFL, whatever it is, and um, you know eh, guys appreciate what we can bring to the table.
So break down the schedule is out now. What are you most excited for, and what do you expect to see this season?
Well, I mean, I think, being able to go to more of the divisional look that we're doing with, I think that helps teams a lot as far as, building rivalries. It helps with travel expenses for sure. Um, you know, it, what I like about it is that you're going to play 9 division games and then 3 out of division. So, allows your the home team, Albany's coming here to Salina, Albany is one of the premier teams in arena indoor football, and you know that's going to get a lot of people excited and pack our arena, and so I think it's a great um, way to attack a schedule as when you're talking about a 12 team league and splitting it up into three divisions and um, we'll have a 6 team playoff and it makes it so that everybody's got a shot and that's what you want to start a season and then see what happens when you get to June in the playoffs.
So talking football a little bit here. You just going through the off season, signing new guys or returning guys. How is the roster shaping right now? What is some of the strong sides and what are some things that you think your team still needs to work on?
Well, Coach O'Neill's a legend, and he and our coaching staff have been working awfully hard, really since the season's over, and really excited to get some of those core pieces from our team back from last year. A lot of especially younger guys that our fans really fell in love with. Were great players for us last year, and are all league caliber guys, and they know kind of the Liberty way and how we do things, and um, so you start with that great core, and then being a small market team, you've got to be aggressive in free agency, and so we've we're easily at this point have the biggest roster right now. We can bring 35 guys into camp, and as of this second right now, we're at 31, and so it's I'm going to guess number two is in the low 20s right now. Off the top of my head, but um, it's still though. So we feel great about really all our positions. We're kind of especially wide receiver and DB, just um, feel really good about the amount of guys we have and that are bringing into camp that are can play at a high level and but yeah, now our coaches kind of switch modes into being kind of you kind of swing for the fences on some guys and see if you can make some you know really big splash signings here and for the to fill up the remaining few spots here on the roster and if you can upgrade a position or you know go after a big name or a guy that's had a ton of professional success, then see if we can get one of those guys um and so we love where we're at right now with building our roster and obviously we're not at 35, we're not done for the off season yet, but always looking, but um, we're awfully excited with the talent that's coming into Salina, and like we want to win a championship next year, and we came a semifinal away, and we don't like that. We want to be there, stand at the end of the season. So we expanded our coaching staff this year and brought on Larachi Jackson as our D coordinator, who in my interaction with him has been super impressive. Very intelligent dude that had a heck of a career himself, and then Matt Wells is going to coach our O line and D line, and Matt's a guy that has a lot of connections, has brought in a lot of good players for us, and so um, then you have the mainstay, Coach Martinez. He's kind of a legend here in Salina, and then with Coach O, you've got an awfully strong group of guys, and they're building a heck of a roster, and we're excited for it.
And my last question, what's your message to Liberty fans to kind of get them excited about this new era for Arena Football One?
Yeah, I mean, we we literally couldn't be more excited for this next season coming up, and we'll be kicking off here in March, middle of March, and our first home games the 5th of April. So we want to pack TPEC and be able to showcase to the entire nation, what Liberty Nation's all about and what we do. And um, you you with our coaches and players that we've signed, you're gonna be entertained. There's no doubt about that. So can't wait to see everybody, especially there in April when we're at home an awful lot in April and pack out our arena that month and get things rolling.
Sam Sellis, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Appreciate you, Anthony.